Kuwait for the personal care and support extended to Indian community during the COVID-19 pandemic. I also extend my greetings to all Indians in Kuwait on Onam festival and also on Raksha Bandhan. On August 22, as part of our Onam celebrations, we will share sweets and traditional payasam with all our visitors at the embassy, all visitors to our passport centers, and also at the shelter. I invite you all to join us for the Onam celebrations at the embassy on August 22 evening. Dear friends, this week we are also celebrating Sanskrit Week from August 19 to August 25. Sanskrit Week is observed to promote and popularize Sanskrit language, which is a part of our civilizational heritage. You would recall that we in the mission had organized the release of Sanskrit learning app, Little Guru, in association with the Indian Council for Cultural Relations last year. I am happy that it has generated a momentum in Kuwait, which is continuing, and more Indians are learning Sanskrit today. Dear friends, today we have assembled here to celebrate an important day, the ICWF Day. We all Pravasis know what ICWF is. Indian Community Welfare Fund, set up in 2009. It is aimed at assisting overseas Indian nationals in times of distress and emergency in the most deserving cases and on a means-tested basis. The fund provides all Indian missions and posts abroad greater flexibility in swiftly addressing to requests for assistance by Indians. As a diplomat for nearly 30 years, I remember a period when there was no such fund available to the missions to assist the community. I recall the days when we struggled to generate funds through various fundraising programs to run an Indian community benevolent fund at our mission in Qatar before the creation of the ICWF. I thank our leadership of the country who took the initiative of setting up this fund today to help the community in need. What is equally important is that we utilize the fund effectively for the purpose for which it is created. There are very clear guidelines on how to utilize the funds. It is aimed at assisting overseas Indian nationals in distress situations, boarding and lodging for distressed Indian nationals abroad, air passage to stranded Indians, legal assistance to deserving Indians who have committed minor crimes, offenses, or have been falsely implicated by their employer and put in jails, fishermen, seamen, sailors, Indian students in distress, legal and financial assistance to Indian women abandoned, cheated, abused by their spouses. It also provides for payment for small fines and penalties in respect of Indians for minor offenses or crimes, for illegal stay in the host country where prima facie the worker is not at fault, and to enable release of Indian nationals from jail or detention center. Transportation of mortal remains and expenditure on incidentals of deceased Indian national to India, or local cremation, burial of deceased in such cases where the employer, sponsor, or the insurance company is unable or unwilling to do so as per the contract and the family is unable to meet the cost. Emergency medical care on means-tested basis to overseas Indians who are involved in an accident with serious life-threatening injuries or have life-threatening medical conditions or suffer a serious disability. Support for the community welfare activities such as promote Indian culture by organizing cultural programs at major Indian festivals, National Days of India, Indian culture programs by recognized local artists or Indian artists based in India, etc. Payment of honorarium for teachers, faculty teaching Indian languages, art forms, etc. Welfare activities for Indian students towards organizing annual day for Indian students at universities and education institutions to discuss their problems, issues faced by Indian students, including their visa, residence status, work permit, financial, welfare, and other issues with participation of students. Hiring of local interpreters on a case-to-case basis for consular visits, design, publication, translation course of pamphlets by missions post about local labor laws, regulations, norms and do's and don'ts, welfare measures pertaining to overseas employment in the host country, organizing labor camps, consular camps for interacting with Indian migrant workers and informing them about issues related to overseas employment, labor laws, welfare and protection measures of the government, set up 24/7 helplines, walk-in resource centers for providing information, advice, guidance on problems faced by distressed Indian nationals, and helping them register their grievance in the mission post, development of e-governance solutions, applications to address consular welfare matters. Dear friends, I read out this long list of areas covered by ICWF today to ensure that all Indians in Kuwait are aware of the availability of this fund for their welfare. They need to know that this is available and approach us for its effective utilization. Each of these I mentioned is available for our community in distress. It is your fund. And I am proud to say that I have been able to use this fund effectively for the benefit of our brothers and sisters in need during my last 1 year in Kuwait. One of the first things I undertook was to set up a committee of 3 officers of the mission as the ICWF committee to study each and every application and make their recommendation to me. Each of the cases of request that the mission received were processed and assistance extended on each case on a means-tested basis. Let me assure you, in coming weeks and months, we will continue to use the fund effectively to assist those in need. Dear friends, last week I had a virtual interaction with all our associations and groups. We had discussed many of the issues concerning, including vaccination certificates, registration on various portals of the Kuwaiti Ministry of Health, easing of travel restrictions, etc. I am happy to note that there are a few very positive developments since our last interaction this month. The government of the state of Kuwait has announced the opening of direct flights between India and Kuwait. This will address the concern of many of our brothers and sisters stranded in India for a long time. I thank the leadership of the state of Kuwait for this decision. As we all continue to fight against COVID-19 pandemic, many of our brothers and sisters and children continue to face many difficulties. Every day we see people losing their battle against COVID-19 and leaving us. For example, yesterday I am told that there were 10 registrations of death on a single day. Not all of them were not COVID, but they were loss of life. My personal condolences to the families, friends, those who lost their loved ones. I thank our doctors, our nurses, and other medical professionals for their continued support to many who are facing difficulties. Our community, particularly the youth, continue to be in the forefront of blood donation in Kuwait. Today morning, I attended a blood donation camp where hundreds of youth were lined up to donate blood. I thank all associations and groups who take such initiatives. I am happy to give an update on the assistance of ICSG for the families of people who died due to COVID-19 pandemic. Assistance of rupees 1 lakh has been sent to 97 families so far, I understand. I am happy that within 3 weeks of announcement, the payment has started and is continuing in a fast pace. I once again thank ICSG for the assistance. I will continue to update you on this. This is not from ICWF, it is by ICSG. Dear friends, today I would like to focus on ICWF. We have a presentation by First Secretary Shri Fahd Ahmad Khan Suri on ICWF and also on the activities of the mission in July-August. We will also release our first labor bulletin prepared by the Community Welfare and Labor Wing of the mission today. My colleague First Secretary Shri Rahul has taken the initiative to publish this in-house bulletin. This is part of our efforts to improve the quality of community welfare activities and service in the mission. We will soon publish a consular booklet as well. A few initiatives that we plan to launch in coming weeks are: 1, Goodwill Evenings, where we will organize various cultural evenings in labor camps in Kuwait with the participation of our laborers with the cooperation of the employers. 2, setting up of an exclusive Arabic translation cell to help those who need such services in courts, labor offices, and various government offices. 3. A new social media question and answer weekly bulletin where we publish all queries or most of the queries we receive in the mission with our responses so that the entire community gets benefited. We will work out the modalities of each of these initiatives and update you. Dear friends, I thank you for the overwhelming response to my appeal to associations to nominate at least one volunteer in the Google registration form as volunteers for the mission. We are examining each of the registrations. Most of our associations have nominated at least one volunteer. I really appreciate this. This shows the importance that our associations attach to welfare of the community. The idea of volunteers registration is to streamline the issue of social workers, which has some inherent issues. We will address those in coming weeks and months. This week, I had a good meeting with the Public Authority for Manpower, discussed a series of issues, including the implementation of MOU on streamlining the recruitment of domestic workers to Kuwait. We will soon hold a meeting of the Joint Working Group. We discussed with PAM a list of companies and employers who are placed in a banned list by India. We also have a list of sponsors who have not been cooperating with the embassy when it comes to domestic workers' welfare. We are in touch with the authorities to ensure that they will not get visa again for recruitment from India. Please be very careful while dealing with such companies and such sponsors. We will continue to update you on the list of companies and individuals. You could be in touch with my colleague, Sri Rahul, First Secretary, for an updated list. I would like to remind you about the Embassy Helpline handling 12 WhatsApp numbers and our 24/7 helpline numbers. They are our rapid response team for answering your queries on travel guidelines and vaccination, certification, registration, and all issues of concern. We keep updating the officers concerned on the new guidelines. Let me assure you, we will extend all support. I will conclude with an update on the NEET examination. Mission is making all preparations for the safe and secure conduct of the NEET examination on September 12. I now request my colleague, Joint Secretary Sri Abagani Ramu, to say a few words. After that, I will be happy to get your suggestions and also answer your questions. Thank you and good evening.
Thank you, sir, for your remarks. May I now request Sri Abagani Ramu, Joint Secretary Y1, Minister of External Affairs, to deliver his remarks.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. His Excellency, Mr. T.B. George, Ambassador of India, and the colleagues from Embassy of India, and the friends from Indian community in the state of Kuwait. I congratulate Embassy for organizing a special event to mark India at 75. That is the ICWF Day. The main objective is to generate awareness about the scheme, the initiative of Government of India for the welfare and benefit of Indian community abroad. I am glad to see that huge participation in this event, both virtually and in person. So that is a great thing that it reflects the commitment the community has for the embassy's initiative. I can see the close working between embassy and communities, and I understand that community plays an important role in supporting our embassy's initiatives. I am glad and I want to express my gratitude towards the community and request to support our initiatives so that the initiatives reach to the beneficiaries. I also want to thank my sincere appreciation and support to the government of State of Kuwait for excellent support extended to our embassy, especially in case of our Indian community welfare activities. And while we make our effort to reach out to the community to help them, we need also the support of community in the sense to make our program successful. Especially the awareness is very important for us because most of the initiatives are excellent initiatives. As Ambassador explained, the ICWF has a very, very detailed program to help every kind of emergency Indian community member faces. So similarly, there are many other initiatives. So my request is, since it is a 75th Independence Day and 75 years we are celebrating, maybe I can request that each community member to pledge themselves that they can help at least 75 more persons. Persons may not be attending today, but in Kuwait or not in Kuwait, but in India, aspiring to come. So that will be a great help in reaching out our schemes to the people who actually need it. So that is one my request. And especially the technology is so easy, and we can convey through WhatsApp groups, create groups, and we can take that challenge as a responsibility and telling about the benefits and experience of your own effort reaching, starting from the village, town, city of India to Kuwait itself is a great achievement. That the progress, the process you have gone through, if you can share with people who are aspiring, that will be very helpful. And at the same time, there are many issues in the process of this migration movement from India to Kuwait. So those issues which you came across, there are many cases of cheating by illegal agents, and many people get cheated, land up not using appropriate visa. So these are our major concerns in addressing these issues. So not only our efforts, the community can also join us in reaching these efforts so that will be more successful. And also I want to add, in addition to ICWF, we also have various institutes called Pravasi Bharatiya Bima Yojana, which is an insurance scheme, which is a very, very nominal premium of 250 rupees and 350 rupees for 2 years and 3 years insurance coverage, which provides about 10 lakh rupees in case of permanent disability or in case of death. So that is an excellent insurance scheme, and that should be also be made popular. So of course, for any details, embassy is there to contact. And in addition, we have also have a pre-departure orientation training program, which is free of cost 1-day program before immigrant leaves India. So we are expanding that program. So we would like to everyone to make use of this program before they take on their journey to foreign country. And coming to ICWF, I don't want to go into details, but for last 7 years, from 2014 to end of 2020, we provided the ICWF assistance of 447 crores across the world. With these few words, I want to congratulate Embassy for its excellent reach out to the community and working close association with community for helping Indian community members which are in weaker sections and maybe in difficulties, distress. I understand the recent initiative with the community association is an excellent initiative. It is a unique initiative. So I want to sincerely thank the community for that. And with these few words, I want to congratulate the embassy and also all the participants. And I request once again, the request I made was to help people who are behind you. You may be at the one stage of ladder. So if you help them climbing up the ladder, that will also help you to climbing further the ladder. So I think it is a process where the success of one person can lead to success of more people who are in the queue. So with these few words, I want to thank sincerely my ambassador. Actually, it is a kind of a coming back home. I started my career 20 years ago with him as attaché, and again coming back to join for the same cause of community welfare today is something very memorable experience for me. Thank you, sir, and thank you so much for inviting me. And wish you all the best for everyone. And hope you'll have a very detailed presentation about ICWF. Please absorb that knowledge and share it with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your remarks. I'm sure that Indian community would respond to your requests and suggestions in overwhelming numbers. As you all know, Embassy has been implementing multiple people-friendly initiatives. Today, as Ambassador mentioned, we are releasing Labor Bulletin, which will provide the updated information on labor issues in Kuwait. May I now request Ambassador C.B. George and Shri Rahul, First Secretary, Community Welfare and Labor, to come to the stage for releasing Labor Bulletin. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. Moving ahead. On the occasion of 75th Independence Day of India on 15th August 2021, all of us have seen how talented our Indian community in Kuwait here. On today's special occasion, we have some community members presenting their talent. Please welcome them with a big hand. The first participant is our own Muhammad Rafi with the song Har Karam Apna Karenge. Please welcome him.
Hello, check. Check. Hello. तू मेरा घर माँ तू मेरा सब कुछ मैं तेरा सब कुछ हूँ हर करम अपना करेंगे हर करम अपना करेंगे ऐ वतन तेरे लिए दिल दिया है जान भी देंगे ऐ वतन तेरे लिए दिल दिया है जान भी देंगे तेरे लिए हर करम अपना करेंगे ऐ वतन तेरे लिए दिल दिया है जान भी देंगे ऐ वतन तेरे लिए हर करम अपना करेंगे ऐ वतन तेरे लिए दिल दिया है जान भी देंगे ऐ वतन तेरे लिए मेरा धर्मा, तू मेरा धर्मा, तू मेरा अभिमान है। वतन महबूब मेरे, तुझ पे दिल कुर्बान है। वतन महबूब मेरे, तुझ पे दिल कुर्बान है। हम जिएंगे और मरेंगे ऐ वतन तेरे लिए। दिल दिया है जान भी देंगे ऐ वतन तेरे लिए। दिल दिया है जान भी देंगे ऐ वतन तेरे लिए। हिंदू मुस्लिम सिख है साई, हम वतन अमनाम है। हिंदू मुस्लिम सिख है साई, हम वतन अमनाम है। जो करे इनको जुदा, मजहब नहीं इल्जाम है। हम जिएंगे और मरेंगे है वतन तेरे लिए। दिल दिया है जान भी देंगे है वतन तेरे लिए। दिल दिया है जान भी देंगे है वतन तेरे लिए। Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Wonderful performance. The next performance is by Hearts Beats Center for Arts and Lifestyle Excellence, Kuwait. Please give them a big round of applause.
अभी मुझ में कहीं बाकी थोड़ी सी है जिंदगी। जगी धड़कन नहीं, जाना जिंदा हूँ मैं तो अभी। कुछ ऐसी लगन इस लम्हे में है, ये लम्हा कहाँ था मेरा। अब है सामने, इसे छू लूं जरा, मर जाऊं या जी लूं जरा। खुशियाँ चूम लूं या रो लूं जरा, मर जाऊं या जी लूं जरा।
मैं कभी बतलाता नहीं, पर अंधेरे से डरता हूँ मैं माँ। यूं तो मैं दिखलाता नहीं, तेरी परवाह करता हूँ मैं माँ। तुझे सब है पता है ना माँ, तुझे सब है पता मेरी माँ। भीड़ में यूं न छोड़ो मुझे, घर लौट के भी आना पाऊं माँ। भेजना इतना दूर मुझको तो, याद भी तुझको आना पाऊं माँ। क्या इतना बुरा हूँ मैं माँ, क्या इतना बुरा।
Thank you for this wonderful performance. And let's put our hands together again to welcome one of our Rafis, Shri Rafi Kallai, to sing the most relevant song to all Pravasi, Chitti Aayi Hai, Chitti Aayi Hai.
चिट्ठी आई है, 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 वतन से चिट्ठी आई है। बड़े दिनों के बाद हम बेवतनों को याद, बड़े दिनों के बाद हम बेवतनों को याद, वतन की मिट्टी आई है। चिट्ठी आई है, चिट्ठी आई है, चिट्ठी आई है, वतन से चिट्ठी आई है। ऊपर मेरा नाम लिखा है, अंदर ये पैगाम लिखा है। ओ परदेस को जाने वाले, लौट के फिर ना आने वाले। सात समंदर पार गया तू, हमको जिंदा मार गया तू। खून के रिश्ते तोड़ गया तू, आंखों में आंसू छोड़ गया तू। कम खाते हैं, कम सोते हैं, बहुत ज्यादा हम रोते हैं। चिट्ठी आई है, चिट्ठी आई है, चिट्ठी आई है, चिट्ठी आई है, वतन से चिट्ठी आई है। सूनी हो गई शहर की गलियां, कांटे बन गई बाग की गलियां। कहते हैं सावन के झूले, भूल गया तुम हम नहीं भूले। तेरे बिन जब आई दिवाली, दीप नहीं दिल जले है खाली। तेरे बिन जब आई होली, पिचकारी से छूटी गोली। पीपल सोना पलकट सोना, गुलशन शहा बना नमूना। फसल कटाई बैसाखी है, तेरी आना रह गया बाकी। चिट्ठी आई है, चिट्ठी आई है, आई है चिट्ठी आई है। चिट्ठी आई है वतन से, चिट्ठी आई है। पहले जब तू खत लिखता था, कागज में चेहरा दिखता था। बंद हुआ ये मेल भी अब तो खत्म हुआ ये खेल भी अब तो। डोली में जब बहती बहना, रिश्ता देख कर थे नैना। मैं तो बाप हूँ मेरा क्या है, तेरी माँ का हाल बुरा है। तेरी बीवी करती है सेवा, सूरत से लगती है बीवा। तूने पैसा बहुत कमाया, इस पैसे ने देश छुड़ाया। पंजी पिंजरा तोड़ के आजा, देश पराया छोड़ के आजा। पंजी पिंजरा तोड़ के आजा, देश पराया छोड़ के आजा। आजा उम्र बहुत ही है छोटी, अपने घर में भी है रोटी। चिट्ठी आई है, चिट्ठी आई है, आई है चिट्ठी आई है। चिट्ठी आई है, आई है चिट्ठी आई है। चिट्ठी आई है वतन से, चिट्ठी आई है। बड़े दिनों के बाद हम बेवतनों को याद, बड़े दिनों के बाद हम बेवतनों को याद। वतन की मीठी आई है। चिट्ठी आई है, आई है चिट्ठी 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 आई है। Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much for that energetic song. with this, we come to the end of the first part of our special program to celebrate ICWF Day. We'll proceed with open house proceedings now. Thank you, everyone. From here onwards, my colleague Sri Fahasri will take over. Jai Hind.
As well, but we'll go over each one of these elements in the slides that will follow now. Just to answer the question, what is ICWF? I mean, we are all familiar with it. It's the Indian Community Welfare Fund, which was established in 2009 to assist overseas Indian nationals in distress in the most deserving cases and on a means-tested basis. So gradually over the years, it has evolved into becoming a contingency expenditure fund to meet the various community welfare activities or requirements of the Indian diaspora. So we begin with the criteria for utilization. The fund is used mostly for Indian citizens resident in any particular foreign country. So currently, if we are talking about Kuwait, so it's available for Indian citizens residing in Kuwait, and also to those Indian nationals who are visiting this country and are in distress. And ordinarily, it is available to those Indian nationals who have entered this country legally. It is not extended to persons of Indian origin or overseas citizens of India. And so, as I explained, it can be utilized by Indian nationals in distress on a means-tested basis, and provided the concerned officer or the committee of the mission or the embassy has satisfied himself that the beneficiary deserves to be assisted out of this fund. How do you apply? We at the embassy here in Kuwait have made this platform very accessible to all our Indian nationals here in Kuwait. We have kept ICWF request collection boxes at 31 locations. You would see 32 of our boxes. These boxes are appropriately labeled and are kept in prominent locations. They are available as close as your nearest supermarket. And at the embassy, of course, it's kept at prominent locations, and also at all the 3 outsourcing centers of the mission. So, and the soft copy of this form is available online as well. So, if you ever need to avail of assistance from ICWF fund, there are no hindrances to this. In fact, we have made this very accessible, and in case you still have any issues, we have our 24/7 helplines. You can ask for a copy of it, or in fact, you can make a request through that also. We'll be able to assist you. So the operation guidelines that are currently in place were revised in 2017, and they cover 3 broad categories. The first category is for individual financial assistance for distressed nationals out of ICWF. And if you would see the key categories covered under this particular area is providing air passage or repatriation tickets to Indian nationals who are to be deported or distressed Indian nationals as well. We also provide free air passages to all those in medical emergencies as well. Birth registrations for children of Indian nationals who are in distress and who are being deported are also taken care of. We also provide financial assistance to all those Indian nationals lodged in jails in this country, and also provide emergency medical care, again, in those circumstances as defined under the guidelines. We provide free air passage to seafarers, and we also distribute necessary or essential item kits like we did. We had explained this in the past. We had showed glimpses of those, the distribution of essential items that we provided to Indian nationals in various jails, deportation centers, and detention centers. These activities are carried out by our community welfare wing. We also provide legal and financial assistance to distressed Indian nationals out of this area, and also cover minor cases or penalties that have been imposed on Indian nationals, provided prima facie there is a condition there that prima facie the worker should not be at fault, and this is to enable release of the Indian nationals from the jail or detention center. And in fact, we do assist in transportation of mortal remains. We have been doing that. We provide the statistics on a monthly basis, which you will see in our next presentation as well. This is the second area. We also do provide assistance for various community welfare activities. Subject to, of course, there are financial limits that are placed on this activity. If you would see, there are 3 key activities under this theme. One of them is promotion of Indian culture, which we do by organizing cultural programs in association with Indian community associations and Friends of India to celebrate all major Indian festivals, National Days of India, and of course Indian cultural programs by recognized local artists or Indian artists based in India, etc. Sorry, that's supposed to be the next slide. I mean, the next 2 slides. The other 2 activities under this broad area are payment of honorarium for teachers and faculty teaching Indian languages, art forms, etc. We also can organize welfare activities for Indian students towards organizing annual days for Indian students at universities and educational institutions, especially also to discuss their problems and issues faced by the Indian students, including their visa, residence status, work permits, financial welfare, and other issues, of course, in consultation and participation with the concerned Indian students. The third broad area you would see, can we go to the next slide, please, is improvement in consular services. Of course, there is another cap on this particular broad area, but the key purposes mentioned under this particular guideline, under this particular section are, we can hire limited but additional staff for rendering various consular services. Many of you do give us feedback that we need to deploy additional staff for improvement of consular services. So this is one of those areas where ICWF can be utilized. We can hire vehicles on a need basis for visits to jails, police stations, detention centers, labor camps, welfare camps, shelters for distressed Indians, prisons, hospitals, mortuaries, and to airports for deportation and repatriation of distressed Indian nationals. So in our normal standard monthly presentations, you would have seen that our officials from the community welfare wing make these visits to all these places that I just mentioned. So ICWF fund could potentially be utilized to hire vehicles for this particular purpose. We can also hire local interpreters on a case-to-case basis for consular visits. That's one of those ideas that Ambassador had suggested in his remarks. We can also incur expenditure for design, publication, translation of pamphlets about local labor laws, regulations, norms, do's and don'ts, welfare measures pertaining to overseas employment in this country. We can also incur expenditure under this area for organization of labor camps, consular camps, for any interaction with Indian migrant worker, and for dissemination of information to them related to overseas employment, labor laws, welfare, and protection measures of the government. In addition, we can also incur expenditure to set up 24/7 toll-free lines, walk-in resource centers for providing information, advice, and guidance on problems faced by distressed Indian nationals, and also help them in registration of their grievances with the mission. So in this regard, we are pleased to inform you, and we had informed you, in fact, in the previous open house as well, that the mission has indeed created this infrastructure of a 24/7 help desk within its premises for registration of those grievances. In addition, we can also incur expenditure for development of e-governance solutions and applications, something which we are working on. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yes. Thank you. With this, we come to an end to